Our next item of the day is order electronic resources managed in the network zone by a member. So the situation here is in a network zone, right? A collaborative network. There's what we call centrally managed electronic resources, which basically means that the parent of the network manages almost everything to do with the electronic resource, the cost, the license terms, the institutions that may access it, the content. All of this is centrally managed, but the content is available to the member institutions, and they're also the ones who are paying for it. And basically, there's something called a negotiated license, which divides up the payment and the access between all of the members. So, once again, the resource itself is managed by the network zone, but the member institution wants to order it, create a purchase order. So we'll take a look in Alma at the process of how this is done. The first thing we're going to do is create a negotiated license. That will be done in the network zone, in the parent institution. Then we'll associate that license with an electronic resource. And we'll also define for the license which of the child institutions can access the resource and how much each one of them will pay. Okay, so that's what we do in the parent institution. And then the child institutions and the members, we're going to see how they can create the purchase order to order that item. So centrally managed item ordered by the member institution. Okay, so we are now in the parent institution of the network. The first thing we want to do is create a negotiated license that divides the payment between the member institutions. So, Alma menu, licenses under acquisitions, and add license, manually, next. And we'll call this my negotiated license. Start date can be today. Save. And my negotiated license. Okay, now we've created the license and we want to add the member institutions. So edit, negotiation details. Now our campus, we're in the main campus, which is the parent institution of the Western and Eastern campuses. And we want to add both of these to the license, so add member. The first one we'll add is Western States, select. And Western States, their share of the pie is, let's say, $120 US. Start dates can be today. And end date can be in a year from now. Renewal cycle we can leave at 1 year. And we've added to our license Western State. Let's add another member, Eastern State. And their share is 67 USD. Let's give it a start date, give it an end date. Save. Okay, so we've now created a negotiated license for Eastern and Western State. That was step one. Step two, associate this license with an electronic resource. This can be either an electronic collection or an electronic portfolio. So let's search for an electronic portfolio. And this one can be, let's say, on the topic of Renaissance art. Let's look in the community zone. A companion to Renaissance and Baroque art. Let's say this is the one we're interested in. Activate it. And now we should have this in the institution zone. We're still in the parent, right? Now we want to associate the license we've created with this electronic portfolio on Renaissance art. So, edit the electronic portfolio, and under portfolio information, license, we can now search for our newly created license. My negotiated license, select, and fantastic. Okay, so the license is now my negotiated license, save. Great. So you will now be happy to know that we are done with the parent institution, with the network zone. Now let's see what happens in one of the members. So the member we're going to look at is Western State. Let's go into the Alma of Western State and see how they can order this centrally managed electronic resource. So, Western State. Okay, so we are now in the child institution in Western State University, and we want to order this centrally managed electronic resource. So let's search for it, electronic portfolios, Renaissance art, and this one is managed by the network zone, right? And we can see here a companion to Renaissance and Baroque art. Okay, this is the only one that's available to us from the network, because this is the one that we've just now, as you've seen, activated from the network zone. And there's now an action here of order. Okay? If we were to search for, let's say, rather than Renaissance art, let's just do art. Okay, you'll notice that you can't order these guys because the license has not been added to them. Okay? So you only have the option to order once the negotiated license has been associated with the electronic portfolio. So, contains Renaissance art. And here we do have the option to order. And we are now about to create the PO line. Let's see what we have here. Description, companion to Renaissance and Baroque art. Purchase type, whatever is applicable. Doesn't really matter for our demonstration. PO line owner, West Main Library, and create PO line. And we can now see that the order has been created, and you'll notice that the payment amount, the list price, is what we've defined in the network zone as the share that West State needs to pay. So we can choose our own fund and material supplier, etc. All of these things are configurable from the member. The member institution can even change the price over here to something else. So it's not unalterable. So that's basically the order. The rest of it is like regular PO line. I'm not going to demonstrate that now. But this is how you order a centrally managed electronic resource from a member institution of a network zone.